Welcome to the Automotive Diagnostic Podcast. We're going to explore ways to sharpen our diagnostic skills, find learning resources, and hear from experts in the automotive field.
Hey, have you ever been faced with the challenge of sourcing, installing, and programming a used control module in a vehicle? I know a lot of us have. It seems to be happening more and more often today with the volume of control modules on vehicles, the cost of some new ones, or even the availability of new control modules. In some cases, used may be the only option. So what do you do here? I strongly recommend checking out SJ Auto Solutions and Tomi Oliva. Tomi offers a cloning service for used control modules to make these things plug and play for the vehicle that you're working on. In a lot of cases, he is also able to source the control modules if you're unable to locate one for the vehicle that you're working on. But once you get connected with Tomi, he's going to offer fantastic support from start to finish to make sure that that control module is going to work in your application. He's also got tech support that he offers through his website, along with some free resources there as well on information about used control module programming. So make sure to check out SJ Auto Solutions. I can't recommend that enough. All right. Good morning, sir. How are we doing?
Blessed today, sir. How are you?
Doing well. Sunday morning. Just getting going.
It's the day after Valentine's, man. You know, it's kind of sad that this was the best day we were able to do this, right? Like, don't we have other shit to do?
Right?
Well,
Yes, I do.
I will say this: it's truly a blessing. I'm very grateful for this, and I'm also very grateful for being able to share this. Damn it! I just killed my own momentum, but I forgot this platform. There you go. I'm trying to speak more white, man, but it just doesn't flow. It's worse than when I'm teaching in Spanish because I think in English, so I have to translate my own thoughts and then blurt them out, and then my translation's on point. So I even have like dress shoes, and I have like dress polos with my shop logo on them, and I'm just like, what the hell happened to me, man? But we have a great topic today, but first and foremost, man, I just like everybody to take a few minutes and send your prayers to the Stokes family. We found out on Friday he lost his life in a plane crash with his child and his nephew and a good friend of his on board.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, it was like or hate the person. We can I'm probably one of the first people to go from criticizing to defending the vision that he casted on everybody. And so with that being said, it's really nice to see the empathetic comments from both sides of the industry spectrum per se. At the end of the day, a wife lost her husband and 3 other children lost their father. So hug your family a little bit tighter today, because at the end of the day, tomorrow is never promised. So that's why Instead of saying, why do I have to do this, we say, I get to do this. We get to wake up, believe in whatever you want to believe, but I believe that every day that I wake up, I still have a chance to fulfill my purpose of why I'm here until I get called home. So I appreciate you, Mr. Sean.
I appreciate you too. Yeah, and it's
all our listeners and every single person who reaches out to us and me, and it's been I'm just truly grateful.
Same here, and every day you get to get up and try it again. It's not guaranteed. We had it was our top shop. The owner, I don't know, he was in his 50s, and like this dude was like just crazy energy, like just always go, go, go. Really nice guy and ran a very good shop. He had been doing it for many, many years, but like there wasn't any like signs of stopping, and he loved what he did, came in and just did an awesome job. And then it was last summer, he's just like trying to write something out on a piece of paper, and he's like, I can't write anything I can't write. I can't like do anything with this pen. So he's like, something's wrong. Went in, doctor, he's got a brain tumor, and they did chemo for a while, but like within 6 months he's gone. And we just went to his funeral a couple of weeks ago, and seeing his family and young daughter and stuff like that, and like none of that was expected. Like again, this guy is like just he took care of himself. Like it wasn't like a situation where it's like, oh yeah, so the guy's only got 10 years left. Like he was top of his game, like tons of energy, and just all of a sudden, poof, you're gone. So yeah, you don't know. So it's like, make sure what you're doing every day is what you want to be doing, and making a difference one way or another to yourself, your family, or the people you care about.
I think death is a solid reminder of that we don't have time.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have the time to not have hard conversations. We don't have the time to sit here and argue over why a brown guy is dancing on the Super Bowl show. We don't have time to argue about any type of divisive politics. We just don't have time. We need time for our families, our priorities, and our goals and our dreams, man. Like that's what we're here for. We're here to fulfill a dream. We're here to fulfill our goals, and every single interaction, every single like I thought, I sat here and thought about that, like especially for me. Like I was invited onto a talk this week for some shop owner who wants to do mobile, and and I gave him my opinion. Like, listen, man, like this isn't, I just gave my opinion. Like this isn't this is how this type of business is. Any business can be profitable, yes, but these are the challenges you're going to face, and if you're not willing to face these certain challenges, then it's just not feasible. And I started thinking about it afterwards, and just like, man, like we really don't have time, right? Like we have all the time until we don't. So people who are trying to get that dream job or whatever goals and focus you have, every day, every second counts. And we have to make sure that we're aware of that and be mindful of it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and just go for it. Like if you got something you want to accomplish, and maybe it's scary or you're not sure if you can do it, like screw it, just go for it, try it, and see what happens, and you'd be surprised. So, yeah, good reminders, and count your blessings too. That for me personally, I still have the loved ones in my life that I care about, my family, and you don't know how long that's going to be. So call your mom, call your dad, that sort of stuff, and spend some time, with the people you care about.
It's funny. This week I had a young lady come into the shop, and I've known her for a while. She's been a client of mine for a few years. But I know her father's deteriorating, and she came in and she was all like flustered and this and that, and she got very emotional and she got very open with me. And I guess I was just there at the right time, and I was just listening to her, and she's just like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm like, oh, it's all right, man, just let it go. I mean, you gotta talk to somebody. And then ultimately, I look at her and I tell her, like, listen, I want you to tell. I'm gonna tell you something that it was a fear of mine. Like my father in his last few years was very sick, so I would have to take him. I would take him to, because he felt comfortable with another man. My dad was old school, so I would take him to doctors. I would ask his questions. I would do this. I would do that. I would just make sure that I was communicating my father's concerns to the doctors. He didn't like translators, and so I just did it myself. And it was very hard. I was not a good business owner at the time. I was still trying to navigate my diagnostic path. I was answering phone calls for the industry. So like the whole nine, right? I'm just so stressed. And then one day it kind of hit me. I'm not going to do this one day. I won't be able to sit here with him, and I won't be able to walk with him to the car. I won't be able to just be like, hey, let's go get some lunch afterwards. All right, Dad, let's go get some lunch. Even though like I'm working till 10, 11 o'clock to make up the time because every time going to the hospital here was a half a day event. So I'm telling her,
I am happy to have Automotive Seminars as a sponsor for the show. Now, if you're not familiar, Automotive Seminars is a diagnostic technician training company. They've got a website that there'll be a link to in the show notes. And what they offer is top-notch training to technicians like us in the field. I've been taking their training courses for years and have got a ton of benefit out of it. They've got top-notch instructors, John Thornton, Scott Shotton, Scott Manna, and every other month they've got a 2-night course that you can sign up for. Join in, ask questions, and afterwards, you've paid for the course, you can access a recorded version whenever you want. You can rewatch the class 2 years later in case you wanted some details on it. And that is a fantastic feature. So make sure to check out the website to see what courses they have available and what's coming up in the future.
half a day event. So I'm telling her, I'm like, you have no idea how much I wish I could be you right now. And she looks at me. She's like, I'm telling you. One day you're going to look back at these moments and you're going to wish you enjoyed them instead of being flustered. Because that's how I feel right now. I said, I'd give anything. I'd burn all this shit just to be able to take my dad to the... Because he was stubborn as shit, too. He'd argue with me and all this other stuff. I wish I could do all that again. So, again, knowing... Being able to embrace gratitude will definitely change your mindset and your perception about life and the moments you get to live, and giving people flowers while they're here and not waiting to, the majority of us men too, not even just verbal flowers, physical flowers. The only time we get flowers is when we're croak. That's fucked up, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
So every day we're here, let's just make it count. When we're making it count right now.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly where I heard this from, but it definitely stuck with me, and I think about it quite often for various things, but it's like you never know the last time that you're going to do anything, right? There will be a last time for a lot of stuff in your life, but most of it, you don't know when it's going to be, right? Like the classic one that I think they referred to was like, you don't know the last time you're going to pick up your kid, right? But there's going to be a last time. And then of course, like conversations with somebody, but maybe it's just doing something. Like you don't know the last time you're going to play a sport, but there's going to be a last time. You very rarely know when that is. So you should be conscious about it and at least think about like, oh, this, could be the last conversation I have with this person. Hopefully it's not, but it could be. And so, do you want to be arguing or being a dick or, like it's just because you don't know, it's like take that into account in your daily like life and interactions. And then, I don't know, it changes your perspective on stuff a little bit, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And also like, just within your relationships, man, like me and the wife have an interesting rule, and I've been, and it's hard at times, but I don't care how mad we are at each other or how bad the argument was. Every day we walk out that door, we say goodbye. Even if you don't say shit to me, even if you're mad or you're frustrated, every day we walk out that door, we say goodbye. I remember one time, I grew up west side of Chicago. Shitty, like my dad had the shop. I was a child, and I was surrounded by drug abuse and alcohol abuse, and just older generation men who just didn't know how to deal with their issues. And we had a guy. He was our tow truck driver. Man, awesome guy. But I would come to the shop after school or in the weekends, and he'd just be drinking all day. One day I found him on some tires, just sleeping on some tires, like dead drunk. And I'm just like, and I think that's why I had an affinity for like doing reckless things or drinking and stuff like that. I mean, I drank socially, but like I can't drink at home. Like I used to see my dad drink by himself, and I didn't like it. So fast forward to like, we had the shop across the street. He came in one day looking snazzy. I was just like, yo, what's up, man? And then my brother was there. My dad was there. He spent an hour there just talking. My dad went and bought food. Like, it was just such a great day. And like I said, he had a tow truck, but he had one of those old school tow trucks with the leather straps. I don't know if you remember those.
Mm-mm.
How old are you?
I'm 38, 39.
Yeah, you should remember those. Like back in the day, the tow trucks would lift the cars up by the bumper, so they had these leather straps.
Shit. The one I drove, my first job was a tow truck. It was the wrecker style where you like shot the thing out the back, grab the front tires.
Yeah, it had a hook. Yeah, but these
Yeah.
basically had chains and a big leather straps, so it didn't scratch the chrome bumpers. But it was for old
Okay.
cars, man. You can lift up a new car with these tow trucks.
Okay.
And he was so you actually had to manually like engage him, so you had to go underneath the car, hook up the straps, blah blah
Okay.
blah. He was hooking something up and the car was in the air. He was hooking up the safety straps. A car rear-ended that car, lunged forward, fell on top of him, crushed him to death. 2 days after he was
Jesus.
home. So
Ugh.
I was talking to my old man. I'm just like, man, like, don't you think that was weird? He's like, what? He's like, this guy, he had a nickname. We called him Guata. And I'm like, Guata just showed up out of nowhere. Like, we hadn't seen him in years. He's like, no. He's like, it wasn't weird. I'm like, I think it's weird. He's like, he was saying goodbye. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, the old time. He's like, my grandparents used to say that when people would come out of nowhere, take the time to talk to them because I was like, oh, now it makes sense why you actually paid for food. I told him and stuff like that. He's like, yeah,
Mm.
because no, and it wasn't like my dad was cheap, but he would buy food and stuff like that every once in a while. But my dad was more so like, we don't like wasting time. We're at work. This is work. We work and we're here to work. Like playtime is after hours. So
Sure.
that's why I found it. He's like, when people come in like that, you don't know if that's the last time you're gonna see them.
Hmm.
He's like, the old folks used to say that when people would just show up out of nowhere, like take the time to talk to them because it's this thing where they say
Yeah.
people who are about to go, they say their goodbyes.
Sure. Hmm.
Yeah, man. So be mindful about your time. Be mindful your energy, and because you just never know when your last meeting is.
Yep, that's very true. Well, what else you got going on? What's happening with the shop?
Good, man. This is something that we're kind of both going through right now, but I hired my very first A-level technician, and he fucking fit in like a glove.
Nice.
He fit in
And
completely like a glove. He fit in great with the culture. Man, this guy. What's funny was, and that's kind of the topic of the show today is recruitment, right? I think and even yourself, Sean. I think we're testaments to. Yes, there's a technician shortage, but honestly, I feel like there's more of a disalignment in the industry. I feel like
Yeah.
too many technicians are with shitty shops, and too many rock star technicians I'm sorry, too many great technicians are at shitty shops, and then too many mediocre technicians are at great shops. And by
mm-hmm.
mediocre, I don't say that they're not skilled or whatever, but it's just like in anything, man. You go to you go to even McDonald's, like my service writer says like, dude, he's like, there's this guy at the McDonald's. He's like, good morning, how can I help you? Oh, let me get a number
Yep.
one. Oh, okay, that's great. Yeah, great choice. How else can I help you today? Is there anything else you would like? He works minimum wage, dude, and this guy's happier than most of us,
Yep.
right? And then you go
There's
to
levels to every profession.
yeah, and then you go to another McDonald's, and they're like, what the hell do you want?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so like, so there's people who truly love what they do, and it shows and it shines, right?
Yep.
So I'll give you my story, and then you can share yours because I know you went through some changes recently as well.
Mm-hmm.
I actually was in a training event with my service writer, and my only technician quit. Like literally out of the blue, quit. It wasn't so much me, and if it was, I'd say it. But no, he had some personal issues pop off, and he's just like, I gotta get the hell out of here. Sorry, dude, but I gotta go. All right, cool, man. I mean, I've kind of gotten to the point where like I love helping, but I refuse to not help me first. So you know how everybody says
Yeah.
you have to be able to have water in your cup to pour into other people's cups.
Mm-hmm.
I've started to learn that your cup has to overflow into somebody's cup, but your cup has to come first. Whatever you have left
Yeah.
over can go to somebody else's cup.
You got to put your mask on before you put someone else's
Yes,
mask on, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I started. I This is gonna sound kind of sleazy, but honestly, I don't give a shit no more. But I did have a big moral dilemma. Being mobile, man, I kind of like kept a mental rolodex of like technicians, right? Like I would critique them on their ability to communicate to me. I would
Mm-hmm.
critique them on their ability to um, ask for help or like even keep their ego in check, right?
Yep.
So then I'd be like, okay, this guy's good. This guy over here is good. This guy's over here is good. So then I'd just be like, they'll start asking me a bunch of questions, and they're like, hey, can you show me what you did? Sure. And then like they're like, hey man, he's like, I do side work. You know, do you come program to people's houses and stuff? Like, nah, not typically, man. But if I know you, I'll do it, man. So here's my card, and they'll text me. And then sometimes they'll just ask me questions, and I'm happy to help. But the reality is, I did have an ulterior motive. I'm like, all right, I think one day, he'd be a good addition to the team.
Yep.
But I found that as morally objective, right? Because I'm getting paid to come into your shop, and now I'm kind of, I don't want to say recruiting, but sort of like I'm mentally recruiting. I never. One thing I did do is like I never asked anybody, but a lot of them would be like, oh, what do you do? I'm like, oh, you just do this, or how did you learn this? I'm like, no, I have my own shop, and so I tried. Oh, you have a shop? Oh, well, um, I'm always looking to improve my skills, and if you ever need any help, just I'm always willing to move. So when people make an introduction like that, then I say, all right, cool. Like you asked me first. So now
Mm-hmm.
it's like, now it depends on what side of the moral spectrum you're on, right? Or your moral compass. So for me, it was just like, nah, I don't like this. So then,
Yep.
fast forward to October, dude. I was fucking. October was such a blessing, but it was extremely challenging, man. I was wrenching by myself. The shop didn't skip a beat, man. And I was still
Is it
taking
just you and the
just
shop?
me and Josh, my service writer. That's it.
Wow.
My nephews would help me with stuff, but he's not really a technician. Mikey, he's still learning, so yeah, they would help me as much as they could, but typically it was just me solo, working, wrenching, and still answering phone calls, answering questions. I kind of had to put mobile to the side, and my very very best shops, I bought them equipment, and they were just like, here, just hook it up, and I'll log in. Um, so with that being said, I'm like, damn, this this sucks. I'm not gonna lie, I was just thinking
Mm-hmm.
like, man, like. So I talked to one of my coaches, and he's like, "What are you doing, man?" I'm like, "Bro, I put out an ad, and because I had this idea that my next technician was gonna be a rock star. Like I don't have time to teach anybody anymore. This is the prototypical technician I want. I put feelers to this gentleman, the guy I just hired, and that guy told me to go fly a kite with a hole in it. I was like, all right, cool. I'll still keep him in my back burner, but this is the guy. This because again, I had a list, right? And so like
Yep.
I weighed my options, and then but my number one was this gentleman I just hired, and I'm like, man, I really want this guy. I really want this guy. I really want this guy. And truth be told, it was just, if I'm being blunt, he reminded me of myself,
Okay.
right? Like self-taught in a shitty situation. I'm like, dude, this guy can be a fucking rock star. So then one day, and their clients, they call me, and this is while I'm doing all this. I'm like, hey, dude, I'm down a technician still, man. So I'll see you after work. And I got to talking to him, and I just asked him a few honest questions, and I'm like, dude, this guy, I can pay him that right. Like, I just started going through a mental Rolodex of like, all right, man, what do I do? Like, you know what, man? Let me find me an R&R guy right now. Let me find me an R&R guy, and then a month into me just kind of like biding my time, because I realized something, man. I have more fierce competition in Chicago than I thought. See, in Chicago, I forgot about a couple things. Yeah, we have a bunch of union dealerships, but I can beat that on culture.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest competitor I have is the city of Chicago. They hire
Oh,
a
okay.
shitload of technicians for fleet work. And I'm talking about, dude, these guys are lazy as shit. And I hope they don't hear me, but I mean, like some of my friends that I went to UTI with, they jumped ship. They were master techs in their prospective dealerships. They jumped to the city, and they tell me all the time, like, yeah, dude, like I don't do anything. Like, I am a technician, right? So, for example, in the city of Chicago, they have to equip the garbage trucks with plows in the winter, just to
Uh-huh.
have a backup, right? So guess
Yep.
what? They have to check the plows, right? They have to install them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they can't lift up the plow, right? So they have to make the mechanical connections. Well, they can't finish it unless they get the forklift guy to come over. Well, they can't jump in the forklift because that's not their job.
Mm.
So the forklift guy, when he comes over, then
Yeah.
you tighten it up, and then guess what? They have to wait for the electrician to come over and do the electrical connections.
Yep. I've heard very similar stories from more union stuff like the railroad and
Yep.
yeah.
And you know what? It is what it is, man. We still need people to
Yep.
work. If that's the job you want to work, that's fine. But
Yep.
how do you really compete with, that?
Mm-hmm.
It's extremely difficult, especially coming from a small business owner. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to get kind of drastic. And in this episode, I consider myself lucky because one of the guys that I wanted to hire, he had just started a job, and he's like, man, I wish I would have known. One of the other rock star dudes that I had in my catalog, he actually moved. He's like, dude, if I would have known, I would have. I mean, I'd come in, but dude, this is where I live. He's like an hour and 45 minutes from the shop. So I'm just like, yeah, dude, totally understand it. So one of these technicians from another shop comes into my shop to program a transmission he did on the side. And he's like, where's your workers? I'm like, dude, I quit. I'm by myself. He's like, well, I told you, man. Like, just let me know. And he was high on my list. I'm just like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know, man. I said, let me talk to you about that later, dude. Right now I got too much going on. He's like, all right, man. Like I said, dude, you let me know. I talked to one of my coaches. I'm just like, bro, like I have this dilemma. Like, he works for a customer of mine. I don't know. I'm having a hard time with it. And he made the distinction, like, well, he came to you, he offered you. He's like, dude, think about it, man. Like, at the end of the day, us as owners, like, we don't have people held hostage. They have no obligation to stay with you. And at the end of the day, man, think about the good you may be doing to him. A better work environment, better culture, like so many better, like better working environment per se. Like, they had this guy working sometimes outside because it was just one of those shops that had shit everywhere and shit on the lifts for weeks on end. You know the shop.
Yep.
And
Oh yeah, sure do.
He's like, dude, at the end of the day, man, you're a business owner now, dude. You can't be working in the shop anymore. You can't. You're gonna lose focus of the business. So, I call him that same day. I'd be like, hey, bro, like, he's like, can you come in on Friday? He's like, what's going on? I was like, hey, it's just, I want to try you out. Well, at least for me, I've seen him work. Like, I saw the quality of his work. So it was never that. My issue was culture. I was like, listen, dude, ask for a day off for work. Come in on Friday if you can, or you tell me which day you can come in, or your boss will give you off. Yeah, just come in, dude, and I just want to see how you work, man. That's it. That's all it is, and I'll pay. Obviously, you'll get compensated for the day or whatever. He's like, okay. He's like, no, I'll ask for Friday off. Don't worry about it. I'll ask for it off. He asked for Friday off. He came in, and yeah, I already knew he was solid R&R guy, like super efficient. But I just liked how he fit in with us when we sat down to eat. Like I told you guys, I have a little Blackstone at the shop. I kind of like to cook for the dudes. And so yeah, man. After the end of the day, he's like, "Hey, man. So what do you think?" I'm just like, "Yeah, dude. Like, you want the job? It's yours, man." He's like, "This is how much. This is the pay scale. Blah blah blah." He's like, "Great." He's like, "Done." And I was like, "All right. When you starting?" He's like, "Yeah, man." I said, "I know you need the help, dude, but I gotta give my boss his 2 weeks, man. He's like, even though like he gets on my damn nerves and he does a lot of stupid shit. He's never done me wrong. I was like, so
Mm-hmm.
I have to like, no, bro, like you do what you gotta do. So yeah, so he jumped on board, and then it's been great. Uh,
Nice.
he jumped on board, and then also I kept reaching out to my current technician. And I'm just like, hey, like what's going on? And I took him out to dinner, and I just sold him on the vision, and he's really heavy into diet, and he's taught himself programming. I'm just like, dude, he's like, well, where else are you gonna have the opportunities you have here?
Right.
Nowhere in Chicago, dude.
Yep.
I promise you that.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I was able to cast my vision onto him, and he joined the crew first week of January. He finished out the year at his shop, finished some projects he had there, and he jumped ship. And it's been
Cool.
It's been absolutely amazing. And again, he was a client, right? So like,
Mm-hmm.
here's the thing. A lot of people might bark and say that it's a moral issue, but you know what, man? I'm gonna digress. Yeah, I had that issue, right? But no, my vision is that these people working for me can and will be able to make six figures. There's a small percentage of American males that make that, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna be easy, right? It's not gonna be instant, but the purpose of all of this is to get us to where we gotta go, and now. So that's where I'm at right now, and it's just now that I have a diet now, and it feels great, and it feels great to have a diet guy, and I know for a fact he's going to be better than I am,
Okay.
and that's the key, right?
Is that a younger guy, or how old is he?
24.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
this guy is like, and it's just culture, you know what I'm saying? Like, these guys do stuff that sometimes I wouldn't do. Like, we had a client that we had bad tires, and again, we serve all incomes and stuff, and he didn't have the money for tires, and we sent him on his way to another shop, and we're pulling the vehicle off, and damn tire goes like flat, and we didn't notice it, so we start driving it, and it pops off of the bead, and this is when the cold snap here, it was like -20.
Mm-hmm.
So I like I was at my desk. And I'm just like, where the hell did everybody go? And I'm like, the next thing I know, I see the back door open, and there comes my technician with a tire. And I'm like, hey, what the hell are you doing? He's like, man, this vehicle, I didn't notice that the tire was low. It popped off the bead, man. So I didn't want to damage it. But where's the car at? He's like, it's in the alley, sitting there on jack stands. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, why don't you just drive it back in here? Tire's trashed anyway. He's like, if he doesn't have a spare, what if we damage the rim? And then in my back of my head, I'm just like, I mean, what's the difference between this guy driving down the street, right? Like,
Right,
I
right.
told him 6 months ago he needed tires. He never changed them. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I'm just like, fuck this car. But he's right though, right? Like at the end of the day, it's like it's service. Like we want to do
Mm-hmm.
what's in the best interest to our customers, and so he's changes his tire outside, and then so what do? I go out there and I stand with him and I grab the tools and I help him bring the tools back in. And why did I could have just easily sat at my desk, right?
Mm-hmm.
But see, that's the problem with a lot of owners. A lot of owners have the mentality that, I pay you, so get the job done. No. You have to be willing to do the exact same things your team is willing to do. So I sat there and froze my ass off right there with him.
100%. I don't want to ever ask my guys to do something I wouldn't do.
I told all of them at the end of the day, I will never make you guys do something that I wouldn't do, and I will never and I'll do it right there next to you. And like for example, we had an issue that we misdiagnosed a vehicle, and he was on his way to it was actually not so much of a misdiagnosis, but a continuation of a problem. We ended up needing an ABS module, and knew it was discontinued because I was just gonna eat it. And he's like, "Hey man," he's like, "This was on me, man. The U pulley yard has like 4 of these cars. I'm gonna go yank one out right now." I'm like, bro, it's -10. No. I'm like, we just get, we'll get one, and we get one, and we get it delivered. I'm like, no, 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 that's a hard no. No, that's not happening. It is what it is. I'll talk to the customer myself, explain to them what's going on, and, ask them for some more time. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, um, I don't view it as bad anymore. I view it as like us as owners, our job isn't just to exchange money for time. Our job is to create a great environment so that they can flourish, their families can flourish, and at the same token, we have the opportunity to have the right people in place so we can continue with our dreams, right? Because one thing
Mm-hmm.
that I did realize is I don't want to be known as Tommy the shop owner from Humboldt Park in Chicago. I want to matter. I want to do. I want. There's other things that I want to do, and allowing them to flourish under the shop is going to allow me to do so. And
Mm-hmm.
this is why Mr. Stokes' vision, he changed so many lives because this is his vision. I'm a direct benefactor of the vision he cast to the first group of people that he empowered that joined ShopFix, and this is the part that people don't like to talk about, the culture part of it, right? You have to have culture now. Like there's literally no reason why anybody should work for you anymore. The majority of this generation, they're not money motivated. My guy isn't money motivated at all. Like it's, he goes above and beyond, but he has a thirst for knowledge. So it's my job to give him that and keep feeding into him to make him and help him achieve his goals. I'm helping one of my other employees with some personal stuff, so it goes beyond that. So again, I sat the guys down one day. I'm like, just imagine, right? If we're able to grow and scale, because I've kind of shifted my momentum, and I kind of want to have two shops. I just imagine two shops would employ at least 15 people bare minimum. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's QC guys, that's technicians, and front of house staff and background staff, admins and stuff like that. I'm like, no, those operations employ a lot of people. That's 20 people we can change their lives, man.
Yep.
Like it's a huge blessing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really is a great opportunity to be able to affect people's, livelihood and their families and all that stuff. So, yeah. Um, we went through some changes recently and definitely doing some recruitment as well. I hear you on the, getting technicians from shops, and like if I'm coming in there and just poaching people and being like, hey, do you want to come work for me when they're, already employed at a particular place? Yeah, that's kind of shady, but I definitely have a list of secret future employees, and we definitely, just kind of track those people. And if they make a move, if they're super unhappy, that's the time that I'm looking to make my move of like, hey, okay, you're at a transition point here already. You're going to be leaving this place. You're going to be, you're pissed off at your situation for whatever reason. Here's an option. We've been working with you for a while, like the way that you work, what you're interested in, that sort of thing. So it is kind of a weird position that you're in if you're doing mobile, because if you're just running a shop and you're not going into other shops, you definitely don't have that ability to interact with technicians at other shops on a regular basis. So yeah, kind of a unique thing. But honestly, we recognized that technicians in shops, like just for the business, they're our biggest marketer. Like they get us into new shops way more than anything else that we do. And so we've just tried to nurture that relationship and be advocates to the technicians, like as much as we can. Like whatever we can do for techs, like we are techs, right? We get it. We understand what their pain points and what sucks about their job. And so, we try to assist where we can and be helpful and just build that relationship. Again, because we understand it, we get it, but then also at the same time that they know that we are on their side, and then that's a lot easier, in the future if you're recruiting people. So we definitely play that aspect. I mean, my very first guy, he was a tech at a shop that I serviced, but he was going to quit anyways. It's the same situation. Like he was going to leave. He had already made that decision. He was going to go drive truck. And I was like, well, hey, what about this? You want to try this? And, I talked to the owner of that shop, and I don't think he was thrilled, but he knew that he was losing them either way. And so he's wasn't super upset about it or anything. And just, it was what it was. The guy I hired last summer, and actually, I do want to talk about this for like a recruitment avenue, he was from the tech school. And it is different if you're looking for a seasoned employee that knows what they're doing, like you're talking about, like an A-Tech, it's going to be a different path. But if you're looking to get some talent and you're willing to play, you have the ability to play the long game with some people, this worked out really well. I went to the tech school in May when all the students were about to graduate, and just asked, can I give a presentation? I'd like to have an intern, or offer an internship for the summer for 3 months, where you come in, you get paid, but it's just going to be entry level. Work with us, kind of be a helper, see what's going on, see if you like it. And then I just gave it like a little presentation on what we do, right? Like, hey, this is different than going into a shop because of what we are doing. You're not going to be changing brake pads and oil changes and stuff like that. You'll still be entry level, but you're going to be seeing some stuff that you wouldn't be able to do elsewhere. If that interests you, come interview. And I interviewed a handful of kids, and we hired this one kid, and he has turned out to be amazing. He did the internship, and then I offered him, to come on full time. Or he's still part time, but like he's a full employee of ST Mobile now, and he's awesome given the right tasks, right? And I don't mean any offense to him in any way, but I don't think he would have done very well in a regular shop position. I'm sure he would have figured it out, but just I was a tech for a long time. I saw a lot of young kids come in, and I saw the ones that succeeded and, hit the ground running, and the ones that just got eaten up and chewed out because of what, flat rate and the industry is. Like, they just couldn't handle it. And I don't know that he would have done well in that situation, but you give him stuff related to computers, you give him board work, which this kid is doing the majority of my board work right now, which is crazy, but he's so interested in it. Like, he just hyper fixates on this stuff, and he'll sit there and mess with, soldering things and moving chips around and stuff just for fun. So we kind of posted him out at the shop, and he helps us out with a lot with the computers and the software, doing the board work. He figured out all the programming stuff, like, younger generation. He's 21, and so grew up with computers and technology, and he just gets the stuff. You don't barely have to show him, and he's like, okay, I got it. He's into 3D printing, so he's making us right now. I wanted a device to help me measure the angles for side detection modules on cars. And I know Autel sells a kit for stupid money, but I was like, we can make one of these. We can figure it out. So he's like 3D printing this thing that has a laser on it and goes down to a mat that has lines on it. And so we can measure the angles. But like, that's the sort of stuff that he's into. And so anyways, that worked really well, is to go, to the tech school, give a presentation. And again, I have the advantage of like, what we're doing is just, it's not quite the same as what you're going to see in the rest of the industry. And that I think you have an element of that too, with the level of stuff that you're doing. But that worked out really well. And then, yeah, we got a new employee, same as you. He started first week of January, and that one, it just sort of worked out. The timing worked out. I had let somebody go, and he had just sold his shop. He was a shop owner around here. We did work for him, and we were just talking, and so we did a ride along. I was like, well, come with me, see if this is something you'd actually want to do. And then I wanted to make sure he fit in with the team well, because I kind of learned my lesson with the last one, is that, the like you were saying, culture and like how everybody gets along. And you got to make sure that the team meshes well. And if it doesn't, figure out why and fix that, because it's just not good for anybody, including yourself, but the employees too. And so we went out to dinner with everybody just to make sure, like, hey, how's everybody get along? And then I took everybody, and I'd recommend this. This is a great thing, like a working interview with somebody that's kind of fun, but with a little bit of pressure, is go do an escape room with someone that you're looking to hire. Yeah, don't give me that look. you, it is some white people shit.
I want to digress on that, right?
Okay.
I'm not being racist, but white people just do some dumbass shit. Like, I'm gonna really pay you to be locked in a room to figure out how to fuck. Who the fuck makes this shit? Like, that's called
it is
jail.
super intricate.
You can go to
yes.
like,
I will.
who tied himself up
Yeah,
to a
that.
rubber band and jumped off a cliff? Like, did you guys have anything better to do?
We're bored. We got nothing going on. But it worked out really well because there's some pressure. You're timed. You got all these things you got to solve and everything. And it was a great just little like insight of like, okay, problem solving, working under pressure. And then you have to do it as a team. Like you can't get out of one of those things by yourself. You have to like work with the people. And so it was just a real good like, okay, I think this could work. Let's give this a try. And yeah, he's been excellent addition to the team. Had some background programming before, so that helped too. But we're getting him up to speed on the rest of the stuff.
Yeah, he's a good. I know him. He's cool people. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah.
So how do we get other shop, because I hear this a lot, how do we get other shop owners to kind of go about a different way of recruiting, right? A lot of people would be like, the youth. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. I just, how do we, again, I'm not criticizing the youth. I'm just making an observation, right? And okay, perfect example, right? I came across this on social media, but it blew me away. All right. What was the first video game you remember playing?
Super Mario.
Cool, perfect. All right. So, a lot of these have you played video games recently?
No, I quit cold turkey around the PS2 because it dominated my life. I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Cool. Okay. So, all right. In the grand scheme of things, I saw a report, and the report is saying that how video games are affecting this generation of children. And I'm like, that's BS, man. I grew up with Mortal Kombat, and I ran around Grand Theft Auto picking up women, and
Yep.
spending some time with them. I did all types of dumb stuff on I'm one of those zennials, the in between millennials, where like I had pen pals. I remember playing outside, but then I saw the advent of internet. I remember what it was like to try to download a song, and then your mom's trying to call somebody and shit.
Yep.
So like I went, chat rooms, AOL chat rooms, like I did all of it, right? But there's one thing that I never realized that can affect, people's minds is the way dopamine gets, the way your dopamine reward, like your reward center, right? Like,
yeah,
kids get an automatic dopamine hit every time they open up that video game. Like, for example, I like playing, Call of Duty. Well, there's something every day. You get a skin every day. You get a prize. So every time you pick it up, even if you suck, you still get points, and those points lead up to, a prize.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, how many times did you play that damn game, and you didn't get shit?
Right.
Did you ever play Castlevania?
I never played that one.
Yeah, dude, I spent 3 months trying to pass this damn game. And then when, when I got to the end of it, I'm doing my little stupid dancing shit. And then the stupid castle flips over and you gotta go back. I threw the controller out the window. Oh, I was so fucking mad. Well, it sounds ridiculous, right? But what were you learning? You learned that you had 3 shots. And your decisions came with consequences. And them consequences were, you fucked. And you got to start all over again. It doesn't matter if you're right there with Bowser, or you were hit by that first what are they called, man? The things that come out of the sewers with the fireball.
The little flowers, the chomp chomps. Yeah.
So it didn't matter. Like, you just had to pick up your shit and start all over again and get over it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Right back to the beginning.
When we were kids, the social interactions that I had as a child. Or just, growing up the way I grew up. I remember my bike broke. Well, I didn't have a cell phone to call mommy and daddy to come pick me up. I had to figure out how to fix it, or not I'm walking it home.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you deal with a generation of kids who just they don't know how to get themselves out of a jam? And that's the entire automotive industry. Are you going to tell me that 3 brake jobs are the same? No. They're not.
Well, I mean, just YouTube, right? I did not have YouTube when I started in the field. And oh my gosh, it would have been so much better to be able to look up a video on how do I do these brakes. But you didn't have that, so unless you had somebody there to help you, which you didn't always do, depending on like the time of day, and maybe people had gone home, like you say, you got to figure it out. Like you gotta work through it. You got to make it happen.
But that's when the human mind shines. So then, how do we attract a generation of kids who, I don't know about you, dude, but I've been driving since I was like 13 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Not legally, but I was driving. I learned how to drive. I couldn't wait to drive. Some of these kids don't want to drive.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you engage a generation of kids that just has a different mindset? And again, a lot of the old timers can talk all the shit they want, but the reality is they made it so that these kids didn't have to suffer, but they didn't suffer, and now they changed their entire mindset. So how do we keep them engaged? And I think I don't have any answers other than the fact that there are still kids out there. There are still good people who want to be in this trade, but they're not going to be putting up with this shit.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to be putting up with bad culture. They're not going to be putting up with bad working conditions. So a lot of it is just a mirror upon themselves. Like, this is the first time a generation doesn't need to work. And we all need to work. But they're the ones that truly realize that it's a sham. They want to work with a purpose.
Yep.
And again, I'm not gonna create a political debate or whatnot, or spoil brats or this. No, that's not fair to them. That's not fair to my nephew. My nephew grew up on a way softer version than me. He got a softer version of my dad. My dad used to watch him walk to school every day. That man made me fucking walk 3 miles because I got kicked off the bus. I got a different version of my father. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was, it is what it is. He made his decisions. I don't say anything else, but that's just the reality, right? Like, we can't expect these kids to react the same way we are when they didn't grow up the same way we did.
Right.
You gave them a tablet to be on all day. What did you expect them to do?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't.
Yeah.
We were like, get your ass outside. I don't want you in here.
Well, I mean, just growing up with, Google to ask whatever question you have and then maybe get an answer back.
You remember having to walk to the library to get an answer?
Yeah. Or ask people, like, yeah. Like you call up your buddy or you ask your dad or and there's still that of course, but a lot less, and even more so now. Like I look at my friends, little kids, like 2 years old, and like what kind of effing world are they going to be growing up in with the AI stuff that is right now? Like imagine 20 years from now what it's going to be like. It's going to be absolutely crazy.
Yeah,
I
it's to be seen how all this is gonna play out, man, and especially like, um, I hate to say this, man, but like a lot of my and I don't say this by any way means or nothing, but like I've been dealing back and forth with some like anxiety issues and some issues with my stomach again because like my diet's been off. Um, dude, I got more answers from ChatGPT than my own doctor. Because the problem is my doctor labeled me as anxious, and once that happened, that's it. Like everything that I tell him is just you're just anxiety. Here, take these. And I'm not saying not to consult your doctors or anything like that. I'm just saying that one day I read an article about a gentleman who actually diagnosed himself with ChatGPT, and I'm just like, dude, at this point, I got shit to lose, man. So I just
right.
like, hey, like what's this, what's that, and then I found out there's actually a syndrome. And then I went to Facebook and I found a group with said syndrome. And then I got added to the group and I scoured all the articles and people posting, and my symptoms were 101.
Mm.
So I'm just like, okay, cool. Well, then why isn't it treated here? Well, because in the United States, they view things a little differently. They don't treat symptoms systematically. They treat them as a whole. Ah, okay. So I'm not crazy. Thank you. So now it's like, okay, well, figure out now with this information, I can go figure out a plan to help me feel better. So like,
Mhm.
is this gonna be medically speaking now the new norm? Because practitioners always kind of had their own database.
Right.
Because you see them like, oh, you do this, you do that. Oh, we can try this medication. They just plug in your information into this. I mean, I've seen them do it.
Yep.
So does that mean that our medical system is going to get revamped? Like, this is very intriguing what's going to be like. But also like, something. I'm going to recommend you do something, man. I'll see if I can send you a link. I don't know what's available or not, but through ShopFix, I got access to a cultural survey index, and I think there's some free versions of it out there.
Okay.
But dude, I took a survey to see what my personality type, and then ever since then, I gave one to my service writer, and I gave one to my technician, my new technician, and dude, it was game changing, man. The thing is, man, we expect if Sean expects or your thought process is one way, and you just belch an order to your guys. I mean, the way I was raised, it's like you get an order, you just you do it.
Mhm.
But some people don't think that way, man. So I keep getting pushback from some of my things from my guys, and I could easily said either you do it or you're gone. But again, like it's a mentality shift. People don't really give a shit about money no more. It's more about purpose. So then when I started doing this, I started realizing that I'm doing things differently. So I started an algorithm on ChatGPT about how to deal with certain personality traits when I was a certain personality trait, and it came up, it shot off a bunch of different suggestions and lists, and the reason why, like for example, like my guy, one of my biggest issues with him is like I can't tell him anything. It sounds crazy, right? But like I am now a believer that people just we're not meant to multitask, but I can pivot. I can go from doing one thing to the next thing to the next thing and then come back. Well, he can't.
Sure.
If he's doing something,
Okay.
and I tell him, hey man, make sure you call client at 12 o'clock. Okay, no problem. But then John comes in and says, hey, I need you to order these parts. Okay, he pivots to that. But then as the things mount and mount and mount, the other things go out the window. So I just
Okay.
thought he was just forgetful or he didn't want to do it. So that was my mindset. But turns out that he just can't process information like that. So I have two options: either I work with him or I get rid of him. Well, I don't want to get
Mm-hmm.
rid of him because I think he has a lot of good qualities. So how do I work with him? So I asked ChatGPT like, oh, these are the type of people you can't verbally communicate to them. So find somewhere to write stuff down. So I bought a whiteboard in his office and it's right there. So every day when we have to do something, if he's talking to a client, then I have my list. So do this, do that, do this, and I just write it down, and that's it. That's all it took me just to write stuff down for him. And now he knows that
So
he has to.
you had everybody do that test, just kind of figure out where everybody's at or what?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, just their personality traits, so that way for example, my new guy, one of his so we all have good and bad, right? One of his bad is he doesn't like being wrong, so he will pawn that off to somebody else, so he doesn't feel of being wrong. So when I realize that, I make him be wrong. And I told him like, dude, I know you don't like it, but make a decision. I go, as long as you're in the best interest of my clients, I go, we'll always be good. We can revisit the mistakes that you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna make and see where we can do better, so we don't repeat them. But dude, I make mistakes every day. You
Yep.
have to, as a leader, you're gonna have to learn how to do them and eat them, and then keep moving, pivoting. So that's what helped me with it, because now it helps me to understand why he does some of the things he does, and in order to better help him as well. And wouldn't staying between my personality traits, because I have bad personality traits as well. I am a debater personality. So one of my biggest weaknesses is it takes me forever to make a decision. Because I debate it, right? But the good
Sure.
thing about my personality trait is when I talk to certain people, I give them the other perspective. Because I'm better at risk assessment.
Okay.
Because I debate it. Because I debate everything. Within my head or with you or with people. I'll debate somebody all day long. But a friend told me this not too long ago, and it really, really helped. It's indecision is the decision to make time to indecision is the decision to let time make the decision for you.
Sure.
It's wild.
Something's gonna happen if you don't make a decision.
Yes. So just
Yeah.
make it and then do the
Yeah.
best with it and then pivot.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I've been learning, because
Right.
I've been tasked to observe and steer the ship of my shop. And let me tell you, dude, it's fucking hard. And I'm nursing a shoulder injury right now. The other day I was pushing a car and I aggravated it. I never realized how much you use your shoulder, dude. So I'm like, so now the guys are mindful about it. I can't open one of the back doors. I can't until I'm nursing it, because I don't want to do surgery. So I'm just kind of rehabbing it. And
Okay.
I just have to be easy. I have to. So the guys know, and they will stop me in my tracks, because I feel fucking useless. I sit there and then I observe them, but I've been able to make observations on the fly and correct stuff on the fly. Like for example, before our shop was doing, get the work in, because parts isn't too difficult for us. Like we have a lot of
Okay.
hubs and stuff around in my neighborhood, so like I rarely have difficulty with parts. We usually get them within the hour or so. So our objectives before was like, you get the car in, inspect the concern, sell the work, start the work, finish the work. Well, the problem is my shop's small. So what he started doing instead was get the work in. If we can move the vehicle, move it out once it's sold, and then create like a piggy bank of work. So that way, in the evenings we get to knock the work out, but in the mornings we're inspecting vehicles and we're selling work, and we're setting up expectations with our clients, staying in communication with them. It sounds dumb, but overall, we don't work on the vehicles until all the parts are in the shop.
Okay.
And then if we have to pivot during a brake job or something, then we got to get the car out and get the car in. So it's been kind of like an interesting journey that I'm in right now of like not physically doing work, right? Because I basically went from like running 100 miles per hour to like, okay, now I can take a step back, but I can't take a step back. I have to not worry about getting cars in the door, about processes and procedures, creating rules and regulations for the shop, like all the ownership stuff, and it's so you know the mistake that my father made was that we were supposed to be always mindful and present in the business. But at that point, it's just a job, and this isn't a job. This is a business. It has to run on its own.
Yeah, and that is a really, really difficult transition to make.
It sucks, dude. It's hard.
Yep.
I feel
Yep.
so helpless. So I just been working on my projects, but again, I'm mindful of the guys. I make sure that they're good. If there's something that transpires during the day, I pivot to make sure that it gets taken care of. And then there's red flags. There's rules. Like I usually let them make their own mistakes. The first week was pretty rough, man, but I stayed out of it, man. And then at the end of the week, we just went back and we analyzed all the things that happened and where we can do better. We have daily meetings with the two guys, and then if there's something, the only time I stop them is culture concerned or quality concern.
Sure.
So that's when those are my hard. At that point, I will stop you in your tracks and be like, "Hey, this is why we do this. This is why this needs to be done." Not just, "Hey, I want you to do it this way." No, I just take a few minutes and explain why the standards are there, and let's get this done this way.
Yeah. I know, excuse me, my tendencies are like, where what I found really works well, at least to get places, to move things along, is like you were saying, you think about something for a while, you debate about it, and then, if you don't make a decision, eventually something just happens. But I found if you can move forward with something, even if it's not perfect, right? Just like, okay, this is rough draft version 1. Let's go out there and try it. If you can move quickly and implement something, even if it's not exactly what you want, let it be what it is. Maybe some shit goes wrong. It doesn't work out the way you think it does. And then you assess that, and then you go back and you try version 2. If you can do that, on a productive basis, like you're trying something, you're iterating, you're trying another version. Okay, this didn't work. Let's try this. I think you end up learning quite a bit more than, sitting back and analyzing it for, a super long time and trying to get it absolutely perfect before you actually do anything. The like trying and failing and then learning and then trying and failing and learning ends up getting you some really valuable experience. And then for me, it's, things in the business like, okay, we're going to try to do things this way, or we're going to make this adjustment. We're going to implement this tool. Let's try it. Oh, okay, this didn't work, or this is not doing the thing that we thought it would, or maybe it just, okay, hey, kind of worked. Let's tweak it a little bit. Let's try something else. And then you move forward again. And so I've been trying to do that. It's like, okay, I want to try this. Let's implement it. Didn't work. Okay, let's adjust course. Yep. And seems to be working pretty well, but there's always something, man. And yeah, I'm always trying to make that transition to how do I make the business functional without me? What can I add? What can I take away? What do I need to stop doing? Give to somebody else. But yeah, it's super difficult.
No, there's nothing easy about any of this, man. But the reality is there's nothing easy about any of it.
No.
Right? Even being an employee, like for me, going back to being an employee would have been kind of hard,
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
This is what we chose, and we chose this. And the moment we decided to go into business for ourselves is the moment that we decided to be entrepreneurs. We're not mechanics anymore. We're not technicians. We're businessmen, and that's kind of where I had it wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, and I still do. I'm still out in the field fixing cars and stuff. Trying to get my technician team, uh, as many skills as possible so that they don't need me, but I'm still out there and I'm still trying to work that out because, yeah, you ask yourself, if you left, like you were just gone, would the business survive or how long would it survive for? And mine personally, I don't know how long. Like, I'm sure they'd get by, they'd do some stuff, but there would be a lot of gaps. And so then it's okay, how do I figure out how to fill those so that I'm not necessarily needed? Like, obviously, I want to have a purpose within the business, but as far as the day to day operations, how do I get myself out of it? And I'm still working on stuff. It's just little by little. Trying to add things and document my knowledge and get that stuff recorded so that everybody has it. But yeah, it's tough because we do a tough thing.
Yeah, it definitely takes some time, but just being steadfast. And the reality is, man, you're gonna have to let them make their mistakes, man, and you're going to have to come up with processes and procedures, and it's a little difficult because of our diagnostic mindsets, right? Like, you have
Yeah,
one that works
that's the toughest one.
and you can't write that, you can't put that on paper.
Yeah,
And me and Pedro,
right.
we used to argue all the time because he has a very methodic. Every vehicle, every symptom is the same. Sort of like JT. If you ever see JT diagnosed, he's like, every symptom has he has a set procedure for every single complaint and concern that a vehicle can have. And me, bro, I'm just like, fuck it. I just go by how I feel, and I'm a person of odds. Well, if the rest of the modules don't communicate, but this one doesn't, I mean, the rest of the modules communicate, this one doesn't, then I'm going to attack this module. Or if this one doesn't come, then I'm going to look at it that. Like, so I have a kind of a non-rhythmic but rhythmic procedure when it comes to diagnostics. I don't have anything set in stone. I kind of go by feel. And a lot of times I get some home runs, and sometimes I eat shit.
Yep.
But I just can't think of any other way of doing it. Because the way I was ingrained to do it was to how to do it as fast as possible.
Yep.
But yet, some guys like JT and Pedro, I mean, they do it on their own for their own purposes, right? So they didn't really have to rush into stuff. I did. I didn't have a choice. I had to make the best decision with all the information as fast as possible to move on to the next vehicle.
Yeah, I'm a child of flat right there too.
Yep.
And that's my new guy too. Is like he's got that mindset too, and that's one thing I've been working on him. Is like, okay, we got yes, we have a schedule we got to stick to. We got to get these cars done, but we got to slow down too, and just take it a little bit slower because we go too fast and yeah, you miss stuff. But yeah, you got to find that balance if you want to make money and you want to be productive at it for diagnosis specifically. Like you do have to operate within a specific time window, and yeah, that's like what most likely should we be going after here given all the data that we have. Okay, let's go check that first, rather than what's the craziest, strangest problem possible. Let's go for that. I've worked with people like that before. They wanted it to be the most difficult thing possible, and
Agreed.
like, no. So what's your next hire then? You gonna add more like high level technicians or what?
Honestly, it's really gonna depend on the type of work that I keep getting. So right now, I actually have I keep people on the bench now. So I have a couple of technicians. I have another service writer. But right now, if the shop goes the way we're going, I think I'm gonna get another R&R guy.
Okay.
I think John's super solid. I think he's better than me. He just needs more training, which is my job right now. Like we stay late every Thursdays. So actually we have a new policy at the shop. Like I still get a lot of diags from other shops, so we're scheduling those out. Like I don't make money off of shop diags, man. I don't sell parts. It's more of a headache with the shop sometimes. So I'm only using them for training John. It sounds kind of backwards, but he doesn't really need that type of training from the jump like a student. He just needs to catch up to like non-invasive testing techniques. So I said, you know what? All the shop diags are scheduled Tuesdays and Thursdays only. So we're scheduling 3 at a time, and we're staying late every Tuesdays and Thursdays, and me and him are going through them. I mean,
Okay.
I can pay somebody to train them, but the reality is I don't have the budget for it right now. So I'll do it myself until the shop starts making a little bit more money, and then I can start allocating some money towards that. But in the interim, like, he's at a stage where even though like I'm not a strong diagnostic technician, there's still a lot that he can learn from me until I get him to that step. So that's where I'm at right now, and then I have another service writer in the background. Well, we talked this week. I think she'd be a great addition. We just don't have the work for her right now.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's kind of where I'm keeping people on the bench for future situations and growth. Or I mean,
Yep.
we don't know what happens tomorrow, man. Like,
Right.
we don't. So like my job as an owner to make sure, just like Mr. Stokes, like he has an entire plan in case he's not around, and that plan's already going to be executed, and the company moves on. Like, and mine's I hope will too.
Yeah, I'm hoping by 27. That's the plan right now. Is be ready for another technician, basically at the end of the year. So we're gonna work towards that this year. Make sure that the work is there, and then the equipment and all that stuff. And depending on how it goes, it might be more of a transition of me out of the field. But either way, that's my goal for right now. So we'll kind of see how that goes.
Yeah, I think ultimately what I think I'd be happy with is 2 shops, and I can once I learn, and then I think that's why it's such a blessing to be in my little shop right now, because I'm really really learning how to be good with operations, and that's critical because at the end of the day,
Yep.
I think smaller shops are better than bigger shops. And I don't have the experience of running either of them, just my tiny little shop. But just from the observations I made in the industry, and just from the observations I can make from culture standpoint, I think the little shops shine a lot more. They're easier to maintain. And there's also this weird thing about comfort. And I remember when I was at the dealer, I knew that we had a lot of space, but all the technicians, we were all assigned one bay. And I remember asking the manager, I'm like, "What the hell are we? Why don't we just get 2 bays each? We have plenty of space. We can take over this, take over that." He's just like, "We did that, and people are still making the same amount of money." And I never understood it until now. It's more of like it's a comfort thing, man. People just get comfortable, right? In a bigger spot,
Sure.
where you don't like, it'll be all right. I can finish it tomorrow. It'll be okay. And the reality is, like, I hate the fact that auto repair has to somewhat be rushed, but like it people just need their shit back, man. Like it's the nature of our business, dude. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, it always has been.
like here in Chicago, where it's like, dude, you can almost get penalized for having more than one vehicle. Like, city sticker, plates, insurance, dude. It's a lot of money. So like, some people just can't have 2 cars. So if they're willing to put money into their investment, they need it back, as efficiently. So from that standpoint, I understand it.
Yeah. No, we found that. I mean, we're not working with the owner of the vehicle very often, but just with the shops, like, they are willing to pay extra if we can get it done faster, right? We'll have situations like that where, like, yeah, we can't get to you to tomorrow, and they're like, oh, we could really use, like, well, hey, if you want to pay extra, we can get to you today. And I would say most times we offer that up, people go for it, because exactly what you're saying is, like, they got to get it out.
You're only like, this is what I can tell mobile guys. My experience was, you're not selling anything but your time. You're not selling your to a point some knowledge, but the reality is you're selling your time, and you only have so much time. So you have to make sure that your time gets accounted for.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm totally fine with that. And some shops even do that too. Like, oh, Mr. Customer, like parts come in, blah blah blah. Oh man, I really like. All right, well, we can get this expedited and you get some better parts. We can get our best guys on it, but then you'd be looking at, I can't save you money here. You'd be looking at this. Oh, I don't care. Do it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It just it's nothing wrong with it. It's just the nature of the business.
Yeah.
You have to learn how to pivot, man.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
can't control your market, but you can adapt to your market.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you understand the pain points, it makes it a lot easier to sell what you need. Like if you can articulate the pain points to your customers better than they can, they're going to buy from you most likely. And so that's where it is. It's like understanding like that the shops are under the gun to get the cars out because the customers want it back. Like how can I offer a better service in that regard? Can I get to it faster? And then,
Yep.
yeah, and in our case, get more money for it. Don't just be faster. Charge more because we're faster.
Yeah, that's my goal. There's a lot of
Yeah.
a lot of shops in Chicago. There's a few that I would be considered sort of on my same skill level. There's a couple of them. Well, not really, but like, because here's the thing: I don't believe in competition. I'm just setting out to be the best, to give the customers, the clients, the reason why they need to come to me. Why? And then I don't have a lot of amenities. I can't get loaner cars. I can't, I don't even have a lot of parking. I don't have any parking. But I will outservice them. I will take the pain away from the repair process. I will do my best to work within their budget. That's my plan, because at the end of the day, it's like I have all types of income, so I have solutions for every single one of them, man. I mean, and it's frowned upon in the industry, and it's fine, man. I mean, it's totally fine. But every single region is different, man. Like we all have, like I have the people, right? I have tons of people, but I also have tons of other shops that are willing to do things differently. So then I either adjust to them or stand on my high horse. But then what about my guys? My guys deserve to get paid. They need to get paid. So I either check my ego at the door or I close. I did that already and it failed. So this part seems to be working.
Yeah, good to hear, man. I like it. Anything else before we wrap it up for today?
We're good, man. I think we're good. I got a road trip tomorrow. I'm headed down to Shreveport. It's funny how life works, man. Brandon's shop is actually the shop he works for now. He's actually in the group, and we're headed down to that shop to do our group event instead of going to the
nice
center. So yeah, we were supposed to go like 3 weeks ago, but it was during that nasty ice storm, so they didn't want us traveling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, man. I took the week off. I informed my guys that unless somebody's dying, unless the shop's on fire, unless somebody got into an accident, I do not want to call. You guys make decisions, figure it out, make notes, and then we'll talk about it when I get back.
Yeah, I should do that. I got a trip in May. I'll probably copy you there and do that. Cody's doing his event again.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was asking if you're going.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. Are you?
85% sure I'm going.
Okay.
I should be able to take the time. I'm just actually, I just actually found out a few days ago I might have to go back home. So if I go back home, then I can't go. So I'm kind of just last minute for me. Hopefully he doesn't kick me out.
Well, I hope he can make it. It was an excellent event last year. So
some of my favorite people, man. I'll probably take the wife with me.
Cool, man. That's awesome.